Hi, this is Lee Solden. Today I'm going to go over some more Dutch from this video. Just before going live, I did a post where I put the material I'm going over right now, which is a continuation. I don't know. This starts. It's going to start about 4 minutes and go to maybe 6 minutes, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Get toward the end of the video. Um, Probably one more day of this, I'll have the video, the whole 7 minutes covered. Okay, and I'm going to start right into the Dutch. Any time left, I'll talk about my system. I usually get cut off about a half hour after I start. So again, this is Lee Solden. This is live at World Languages. The topic of this lecture is learning Dutch. And I'm going to teach you by my system, which has 3 parts. And I borrow for the fourth part of it, for as far as fluency um, and even a lot of the grammar, I use somebody else's system. Okay, it's called Learn. It's from Learn Russian storytelling method. That's where I got it from. So, but my system, what I start you with, I have you surround yourself with a lot of the language. Then I teach you how to tune in to that language very quickly by basically listening to the same thing over and over again, a little 30-second stretch over and over again at full speed. And it doesn't seem possible, but even though you can't actually follow the language at full speed, your attempt at doing so results in your ear tuning into the language, and usually a couple of days for most languages. Okay, this is assuming you're still doing the passive listening, surrounding yourself with the language. Third step, you absorb the language by systematically introducing what the meanings are by looking at, going over what the known language is for what you're about to hear. And then you listen to it. And you listen to it while you're reading it half the time, and half the time you just listen with your eyes closed. So, in the end, anyone who starts this will pretty quickly be able to understand this guy's 7 minutes of Dutch. It doesn't take that long, okay? Um, and not only will understand it, you'll be able to read it, you'll be able to hear it correctly. It's a good start on learning Dutch, having a good ear for it. I don't just teach this for Dutch. I teach other. I point people to other audiobooks that have straight standard Dutch in it too. And I'll even point you toward Afrikaans. Have you get ear tuned to that? Why not? If you're going to learn Dutch, why not learn a little bit this, a little bit that? I'm going to have you concentrate mostly in the long run on standard Dutch. But to me, just knowing standard Dutch is not a good education in Dutch. You want to know, at least have an idea of how the Dutch dialects go. At least one of them, get an idea. So we're using West Flanders for that. And Afrikaans is spoken by a whole lot of people. Why would you not want to know? If you're going to learn Dutch, why not know a little bit of Afrikaans in case you end up there? It doesn't take that much to learn another dialect of Dutch if you know one. If your ear's good for one, takes maybe a little bit more ear tuning exercises, and you're good for the next. Okay, and they all regardless of what dialect of Dutch, you're gonna all have the same basic vocabulary. Um, so why not extend yourself a little bit beyond just standard Dutch? Now this guy on this again on this video is speaking in Dutch. Now I'm not saying the best he can. This is unrehearsed. I told him be relaxed, just try to stay in Dutch. If he falls out of Dutch here and there, he starts throwing some West Flanders in there, here and there. That's okay. I explain word by word what he's saying, and most of it's Dutch. But when he does something in West Flanders, I let people know it's West Flanders. Okay, and with that said, there are a couple mistakes, by the way. I did this when I'm going over it by myself, and then I haven't corrected it yet, but my language partner, the guy that made the video, told me where I'd made a couple of errors. So I'll correct my transcript later. So here we go. Leaving off from the last time. Okay, and, these, punches. These points, we're talking about Braille here. That's what we're talking about. And by the way, I said Braille. I didn't know how to pronounce it. It's Braille. He says Braille for Braille. Okay. Um. So, okay, ebb, eb. Well, that just means he's just saying have, leaving off the H. There's a little bit of West Flanders accent cropping up there. Not fundamentally saying really a West Flanders word. He's just leaving off the H of have. I want to point out the similarity between heb and have in the English language. A B and a V are close to each other to some extent. B, 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 b. Okay. As a matter of fact, in Spanish, they do have a B and a V, but they don't have separate sounds for them. Okay. So heb is just saying have. Okay. And in German, they got it's haben for to have, but again, it's just a BV confusion type thing. Anyway, ich have. Okay. Yeah, you. In, that's same both languages. Tway is two. Ryan, he says Rayan. He says like Rayan. Okay. A little difference. But anyway, Rose, Von, of, three. Okay. Yeah, he did not spell it, so I'll just leave it alone. A, beetje. Beetje is a bit. Zoals, like as or such. In this case, it's like. A, dobbelstein. That's the word for a die. Like two die, you call. Okay. If you have more than one die, you say dice. Plural of die is dice. Anyway, so a dobbelstein is one die. Okay. So what he's talking about? Well, it says there's Braille he's talking about. Each Braille letter has two rows of three. Okay. And depending on which points are sticking up, you're supposed to be able to tell what the letter is. Okay. So that's what he's talking about here. Okay, now. Okay. And, als, which means as, can mean if or when. As you, bijvoorbeeld, bijvoorbeeld, it means, it's bijvoorbeeld. I remember saying those D is a T when it's the end of a word, it means it, for example. Okay. So for example, twee puntjes, 2 points, onder, that says below elkaar, so 2 points below each other. Zet means sit. So if you have 2 points below each other sitting, okay, and I had the wrong thing written there. That's not West Flanders. So that's just zet from zetten to sit, okay. So zet is just sit. Yeah, I'll make that change right here on my end of it. Okay. Okay, so zet is just sit. So if they're sitting like that, have you, un, be. Oh, okay, B. Okay, they could say be for B, and they're saying the ABCs, A, B, C. Okay, so we got and then one puntje is an A. So if you just got 1 point sitting there, it's an A. Okay. En zo verder. That means and so on. Okay. En zo verder. That's and so verder, further. Okay. Verder. How's verder further? Well, V and an F are the same sound, an F being a stronger V. And then you got verder. Well, the D, they don't have THs, so they use a D. Okay, so from verder, we got further in English, right? Same word. So and so further. Okay, and they or and so on is what it means. Okay, and op die manier, by this manner, and op is on, this or these, depending on which you need it for, manier, and on this manner, by this manner. Krijg means get, okay. Krijg je letters, so you get letters. And thus, rij je, rail. Okay, and it looks the same spelling as English. Okay. Okay, ik heb dat, dus worden. Okay, ik heb, I have, dat, that, thus, worden for a, aantal means a number of or some. So I have that thus for a number of weeks. Wait, that's the word is waken, weeks. Geleerd. So he had learned this for a number of weeks. Braille. Okay. It said met is with, de hulp, the help, van, from, van be from or of, een paar, a pair, blinde, blind people. And I believe he used blinden earlier for blind people. He dropped the N. I believe that's his accent. I do believe, I'm sure Dutch would blinden. Okay. En for plural. Okay. But his accent dropped the N. Oh well. Okay. And then it says and slechtziende. Well, slecht means bad in both German and in Dutch. Ziende, that's from C. Zien, C, zien. Okay. So slechtziende means partially sighted. Okay, so you get trouble with your vision here. So you're partially sighted. Vrienden, friends, because there's an en on the end of it. Covered that before. The V and the F confusion again. Vrienden, friends. Okay, van mij, of mine. Okay, and let me see here. And I gotta check on the make sure that's correct grammar. Should he say of mine or of me? I think he's saying of me, van mij. Okay, probably correct. Anyway, we got to go through this like a fine tooth comb. Look for grammar mistakes between what he's saying and what what standard Dutch is. So that's going to be something for him and I to do. Now he's a West Flanders speaker who actually speaks Dutch better than the people around him for the most part. I mean, as far as standard Dutch, he's better at it the most. But when he, unrehearsed, like I told him, don't rehearse it. Just tell the story, relaxed. And he did pretty good staying in Dutch. Trust me, he did very good because if you heard him talking West Flanders, you'd know the difference. You would. Okay. And by the way, I'm going to try to get him to tell the same story in West Flanders. I'm going to try to document that. If anyone wants to learn West Flanders directly, you can listen to him and learn West Flanders. Why not? Okay. Won't hurt you. You ever go to Belgium, if you know West Flanders, in standard Dutch, both is probably get you pretty far in people's minds, people's estimation of ability to speak Dutch. Okay, so let's just put that in your mind. You might want to learn West Flanders. Um, I don't know West Flanders. I've been working on learning it, but I've mostly learned standard Dutch, a little bit, and I spent time learning Afrikaans too. Okay, and there's one other dialect I look at there in Belgium. Okay, that was heel interessant. Okay, that was very interesting. That was hail means very, and then interessant is kind of obvious to most people. Okay, ik heb het niet. I have it not. I have, ik heb it niet, not. Sometimes he says knee for not. He drops a lot of T's on stuff, okay? But he said his T here. Okay, and I have it not volledig. Volledig means fully. And you got the ig on the end. English uses that a lot, right? To take a quality and make a word out of it, put an ig. Okay. Anyway, we use like e's, not ich, I guess. But and then it starts out vol, V-O-L-L. Well, there's the F-V confusion. Full, fully, voldig. So from fully, you got voldig. Okay. Then we got gelert. That's learned. Okay. Lert, gelert, gelert, gelert. Pretty common way to make a past participle, putting a ge in front of a verb. In that particular case, don't want to get too much in grammar. Just mention a little bit every once in a while.